Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Nadeem, and I'm your moderator today for the first ever in-person MFL nightcap. You know, it's been much appreciated all semester, all season, everyone. We want it all year, all year, all year. To start off, I gotta introduce our host and our co-host. Starting off with Chef Hamdama from Team Halal Sprite.
Round of applause. Thank you. Much deserved.
Much deserved.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Second off, we got his co-host, Mr. Bossman Tokes, right in the flesh, coming in. Give it up for some Tokes.
Let's get this show on the road.
How you feeling, Tokes?
I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
All right, Tokes. Been waiting all week for this.
Let's go.
Let's go. Kick us off, Nader.
To start us off, we want to go into our first segment right away. We're not wasting any time. First segment, who do you trust more? Sprite's defense or Sudani's offense? I'll let you start, Hamada.
We know who's playing at 10 a.m. this week, and that's Ahmad Egypt going for his second ring. I know you don't want to count Mickey Mouse rings, but that Junior League counts in my eyes. So going on for his second ring in that defense, Ben, top 3 in picks. Me, top 3 in picks. Musa, top 3 in sacks. Dawood, we'll talk about the offense now. Dawood, top 5 in touchdowns. Ben, number 2 in touchdowns. And I think I'm creeping up on those as well.
You mean Mustafa, first of all.
Mustafa Dalak, the most underrated rusher in the league, top 3 in sacks. That defense is elite. We know it. I know it. He knows it. The fans at home know it. Sudani's offense, where do I get started? Last week, it might go a little, the score might be a little misleading to the fans at home and the viewers at home. But if you watch those highlights, the defense led the way because of Amir. I put my trust in that team because of the talent. Well, I told you I listed off that defense. I listed off the top 10 players on that team. We know who I put top 10. Other than Sudani, they had most of the top 10 players in the whole wild card round of the playoffs. But Amir sold. I told him if he just doesn't throw more than 5 picks, but the man threw almost 8 picks. All to Yanel and Musa.
Still a close game.
Still a close game, which proves my point here. All those picks by Yanad starting Sudani's offense at the 3-yard line, at the 5-yard line, at the 8-yard line. But we did not see a single drive where Sudani had the Hall of Fame quarterback you proclaim on this show to lead the whole way, to go full 70 yards, play by play, get first downs, actually create offense. It was all short yardage in the red zone. So his offense didn't have to work much. So I haven't seen Sudani's offense be prolific in 3 to 4 weeks. Because against your team, we know what happened. Against my team, we know what happened. And against Galleria Guardians, the defense saved the day. And we know that our defense, with Galleria out of the playoffs, is the best that's remaining left in these playoffs. And we know Sudani's offense hasn't done anything in the last 4 weeks unless they're getting it at the short yardage, in the red zone. So, if Amir, like last week, he threw 8 picks. I don't need Egypt to throw 8 picks. He doesn't have to throw 6 picks. If he just throws less than 5 picks, I think we got this game in the bag. And I trust that because we could check the tape. We could check the records. We could check the stats. So Egypt averages over 4 picks a game, and we went 5-0. And we started doing a quarterback carousel the last week, and we still almost won that game. So if Egypt holds it down, like I know he will, but our defense will lead the way, like it has, to take us to this undefeated record. Undefeated because of the defense, and that defense is going to carry us to the promised land.
Undefeated. What do you have to say about undefeated, Tokes?
Listen, Hamada. Before I unleash on Hamada, we'd all be undefeated if we didn't count our losses, Hamada. Of course you're undefeated when you don't count the game you lost. But that's a story.
Didn't he play quarterback?
That's a story for another day. Because that type of performance, I'm throwing in the trash can.
Yeah.
You're looking worse than I there. But first of all, this question is an embarrassing question. Who do I trust more? Sprite's defense or Sudani's offense, of course I'm going to go with the Hall of Fame quarterback who's been producing playoffs his entire career. The man who's the most decorated quarterback in the history of MFL. Now listen, last week I said it was going to be a defensive game because when you look at Galleria's defense, it's filled with all-stars across the board. Guys like Idris, Suhaib, AJ. Look, I'm listing off a Pro Bowl team. These guys are all on one roster. No, like that defense is by far the best defense in the league. Now I'll give you guys some credit. Sprite has a really good defense.
About time.
But Sudani knew he didn't need to do much on offense because his defense was going to lead the way. Now this is a different game. Sudani's one of those quarterbacks, he can adjust his play style. If he needs to go out and be the superhero to win you the game, he'll do that. If he knows he can win you the game on defense, because Amir was throwing the ball all over the yard. Omar knew all he had to do was maybe score 2 to 3 touchdowns and he'd win that game early on. But it was a high-scoring game, but technically, let's be honest, the game was over after the first 8 minutes of action. I mean, Awad showed up at 12 minutes left in the second half. Literally, just a tank top on.
Calm down there.
Tank top. Look, he could have taken a beauty nap, and they would have won that game in their sleep. Listen, now this week, it's semifinals. Omar is going to have his full roster. He's getting Danish back this week. Danish will head back to safety. Musa can head back to corner. I'm hearing the entire roster will be there. So, listen. One thing about Omar Egypt, he gets careless with the ball. And if Mu'mineen can force turnovers, which I know they will force turnovers, because your guy has a tendency to throw it to the guys who are wearing a different colored jersey than him. All right? So, quite frankly, I think Mu'mineen are winning this game quite easily. But the scoreboard will reflect that it'll be a close game. But in all reality, I think Mu'mineen will cruise to the final. And that's all I have to say about that.
Hold up. You mentioned that they will have the full roster. But when we played them, the roster was about full, excluding Alan, who up to this point has played, like 2-3 games? So is chemistry, his camaraderie with the team isn't even felt. And Awad, our game was there. He showed up on time. Danish was there at safety at his position. Mus Mullet was there at his position at corner. And we saw what I did to Danish. We saw that 80-yard bomb by Egypt, eluding the pocket. And don't even that rush. Tokes, that rush is abysmal. I'm not trying to give any bulletin board material because I respect every player in this league. But you have Huzaifa rushing. You have Dalak. What's his first name, Nadim?
Taysir.
Put that on the bulletin board.
Taysir, Dalak, and Huzaifa.
Use that as motivation.
Are rushers. They're rushers. Now, we haven't first them with Alan and Yanan. So I'm assuming Awad would be a rusher. But we know the Kamish, Big O, the Twin Towers, they're gonna hold that down. So I'm not even afraid of their defense. I'm really not. They played a mid. They looked good. But I watched the clip. I grinded the all 22 because we know, I do my coaching analysis on this show. You just come out here and wing it like always.
What's in your cup? Are you sipping on that LeBron Henny? Because I do my research
too. This is the
too.
LaPortier by Chef Hamdama. You should take a sip of it because it might put some IQ in your brain. But listen up. We are going to march down the field like we did when we played them the last time. When they had the Rookie of the Year, Mustafa. When they had Danish at safety. Sudani. You're treating him like a bum. He was there. Don't forget about him. The Mr. Wash Sudani. I said he was washed. And you're still saying he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm looking off. You're looking off past resume. I say you're only as good as your last game. And quite frankly, I haven't seen much this season.
And quite frankly, you lost your last game. Sudani won his last game.
You want to keep bringing up that last game, but we know I played quarterback. We know Ahmad Al-Ahmed played quarterback.
Hamada.
It's my turn. No, it's my turn. You let me finish. I know. In your heart of hearts, you don't believe that Sudani's gonna get this dub, but you just want to hate. Your judgment is clouded. We know that your hate against Egypt, your hate against me. I don't know why you hate me so much, but I don't know why you haven't respected a single dub this season. Because I'm ready to unleash later on when we talk about your team. But I might give you some credit, but you still here. Look, you're not gonna get credit from across this table.
Look,
this man across from me is not gonna give us any credit.
Listen, America.
And I know it, but listen up. Egypt's taking this dub. That defense isn't gonna do what they did to Amir to what they did to Egypt. They're not gonna do that to Egypt. We know that, and I know that. So it's gonna be a dub. and then I might see you in the championship.
Well,
Now, Tokes, hold on. Let me ask you this. Do you think the return of a fully healthy 100% Mo Allen will make a difference in this game?
first of all, Mo Allen put street culture on pause just so he could come put BTA to Halal Sprite. Obviously, it's going to make a difference because that allows Awad to move from linebacker to rusher.
Is that his position?
Well,
No.
Well, then now Alan can play. You can have any of those guys play whatever position you want on defense. But before I talk about Mu'mineen, my last topic I want to say about Halal Sprite and Omar Egypt, or should I call him Small Egypt, because the last time he had the ball, he had 2 chances to go beat Doomy to win the game with all the marbles and all the chips pushed to the table. And if I recall, he let Sami Agha get a game-winning interception.
Sensational.
Now, last I recall, that was Sami Agha's first career interception. And you turn back the highlights, he threw the ball straight to him. And the biggest moments, Big Egypt turns into Little Egypt. The walls of Gaza, or whatever, the Egypt, they're crumbling, all right? His walls are crumbling, Hamada. We all know he turns into a moist cookie when it comes to the big moments. And all I can say is, you're only going to go as far as your quarterback takes you. And we all know your strength is your defense. And your quarterback is a hindrance. He's a game manager, not a game changer, Hamada. And that's all I have to say about that. So I'll see you Sunday at 11 a.m. when I'm right, like always.
Keeps bringing up Mickey Mouse bye weeks.
We'll move on to our next segment.
Go on.
Whose supporting cast will help them more? Doomies or Big O's? It says Alans, but I'm going to say Big O's.
Take it away, Hamada.
Take it
I want to
away.
hear.
This is your team.
Well, I want to hear what you have to say about my team before I unleash.
All right.
The floor is yours.
You let me have the floor, the first one. Then I'll let you have the floor. So don't interrupt me when I go on this little soliloquy here.
Well, you're
Ladies
just,
and gentlemen,
you're just spewing
he's
that.
already- he's
well, you
already
better make
interrupted
sure
me.
you don't
He's
spew
already
any of that bull jive, and we'll be okay.
All right, Tokes. It's my turn. I don't want to hear anything across the table or from you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't see here, it's 1v2. Because we got 2 Habibi Elite players against 1 Halal Sprite player. But don't let me get started. Now, supporting cast. We saw me list, once again, the top 10 players. And I gave most of them to Big O. Other than one. And like the man across from me said, you go as far as your quarterback goes, and we know that the best player on that field that day is going to be Mr. Doomsday, Barb Cuts, Dooms Cuts, Sarous. Now, let me give some credit here, because you're not going to get it from across the table, but I'm going to give some credit. Habib Elite is the hottest team in the league. I'll say it here, I'll say it now. Azuz has been begging for it. I'm going to finally give it. You beat an ad, you blew them out, like you should have, but you blew them out. That's a good dub. Then you blew out Sudani. Even better dub.
Shut out Galleria.
And then you shut out Galleria without Azuz. Even better dub. And then you go into the playoffs. And you verse... Stonehands again. But, it's like you said, a team with nothing to lose is dangerous. They got nothing to play for. They had their full team. Ahmad, Fillah, Hamza Shabir was looking like
2 interceptions.
Two interceptions per Red Amir, but we know Amir is prone to throwing interceptions, so I don't take that in the account very much. But he did that. And you have Ad, and you have Amin, and you have Zayd Balak. So that roster was complete and it was good. It was if I was in your position, I would be kind of scared. A team with nothing to lose. In us, we have everything to lose. So going to that game and you won that, you blew them out again. 4-0 in the last 4 weeks.
40 plus points.
40
Scored
plus
3 out of
points.
the last 4 weeks.
40 plus points, the last couple weeks, highest point differential, blah, blah, blah. So you guys are the hottest team in the league. But Tokes, you're running into Doomsday. And last time I checked, when Habibi Elite versed Doomy's team, did they have Monty that game, if I recall? I think they did. But now, they got Ali Deion Sanders Bennett.
Here we go.
Who's going to lock
Here we go.
this man up, sitting
we
across
go.
from me. Because
Here we go.
we all know what Tokes loves to do when he runs offense. He's a most selfish player in the league. He tells other people like him what to do so that he can get open, and he'll never do the same. Last week we saw it once again. When he catches a flea flicker, let me start again. When other players catch and want a flea flicker to him, they're not hesitant. But when he has it and he wants to flea flicker to someone else, he doesn't give it a second thought. His eyes, all they see is red. He wants to score a touchdown. No meaning for his teammates. No meaning to score touchdowns. Better plays that will get you to the end zone because we know your slow ass isn't gonna do it. So we're looking at the most selfish player in the league. And we know Ali Benny's gonna lock that up.
Listen,
I'm not done. I'm not done. So, before this man just interrupted my soliloquy here, I was going on that Doomy is the best player in that game. And we know you go as far as your quarterback takes you, and we know that they have the better quarterback in Doomsday. And I can see him. Oh, he has Monty. He has Issa. He has Ubi. Ubi's been injured the last couple of weeks. I need to disclose this type of information because there's not an injury report. There's not questionable, doubtful, those type of things. Ubi's going to be 100% healthy. Monty 100% healthy. Ali Benny coming from etc. We know he's been using those hands a lot at etc. So we know he has his triceps, his humerus, his ulna. It's nice and prepared for you and to get interceptions and to get flagpoles. We know that Ace is going to come in clutch. And Samiaha, I've been watching the clip. I ground out 22. Most underrated blocker in the league. I'll say it right here now. Most underrated blocker in the league. And then you have Yassid. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking enough about Yassid. This man, he will moss anyone on your team. Sorry, if there's a 50-50 ball, if I'm Doomy, I'm throwing it up to Yassid because I know he's going to moss you in your other corner in Yanad. Or the freaking, what's his other name? Fadi or Yusuf, whoever you want to Gunner. What's his name? What's his name?
Connor?
Throw the ball to Yassid if I see Connor on defense. Because I know that Doomy is going to lead that team to the promised land. And I'm going to see Doomy in the chip. I said Us versus Us chip. What can you want more than that? Take the floor, Tokes.
You just let me know when it's my turn.
It's your turn.
So let me ask you a question before you start here. Question for you. When was the last time Ali Benny and Majid touched the football?
Listen.
I have a second question after that.
Listen. We're over here talking about Ali Benny like he's the next coming of Darrell Revis. Listen. If I showed you a picture of the Michelin Man and Ali Benny, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. If I showed you a picture of the Pillsbury Doughboy and Ali, you couldn't tell me which one's which. Listen, the only cardio Ali's been getting is moving from the kitchen to the serving table, all right? Now, all I can say is Ali will be lucky to even play 3 minutes of good football before he's huffing and puffing and asking for a sub. Just mentioning Ali Benny tells me that supporting cast is weak as hell. If you're mentioning Ali as a supporting cast member, when you've got guys like Nadim, Tokes, Azuz, El Yusuf, Yanal, Fadi, the list just goes on and on. But that's all I have to say about Ali Benny. What's your next question, Nadim?
My next question is, again, going back to Ali Benny. How many high fives and let's go will he average?
Listen.
Ali Benny hates him, I guess.
The one thing about Ali, he should get his wrists ready because he's going to be holding a lot of water, and he should probably just get ready to ask Doomy, hey Doomy, how much water? Doomy, what flavor of Gatorade? Ubi, do you need me to tie your shoe?
I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna tolerate this disrespect.
Because that's the only positive that Ali brings to the team.
Listen up.
Maybe he can keep the bench warm for Ubi when Ubi's hamstring starts getting injured and he can't go and pull a flag and he's not showing any effort. Maybe we can make an excuse for Ubi.
Are you gonna make some real analysis, or are you just gonna be baited? You're gonna make some real analysis, or you want me to unleash?
Now, let me get to the question at hand. Let me get to the question at hand now, Hamada. Whose supporting cast will help them more? Doomies or Big O's? Now, you brought up an interesting point. You only go as far as your quarterback will take you, right? Well, currently speaking, my quarterback's the hottest player in the league. Back-to-back player of the weeks. Leads the league in total touchdowns. So why wouldn't my quarterback be able to take me far? He's been doing it for the past month of football after you wrote him off after his first couple games. Now let's stack up the supporting casts, shall we? Monty, Azuz. Monty's missed a few games, Azuz missed a game here and there. You can kind of call it a wash. I'd call that a wash. Tokes, Ubi. We're all taking me. Nadim, Issa. Easily taking Nadim. El Yusuf, Yasser. Okay, And Yusuf's missed a lot of games, so I'll give you Yasser there. I'll give you Yasser. Doomy, Big O. Listen, if this was the regular season, I would say Doomy. But Big O has more career playoff wins than Doomy. And he's the hottest quarterback in the league, on the hottest team in the league. And we all know when the lights are the brightest, Big Doomy has 0 career playoff wins. Let me pull up the stats, Hamada. Going back to when the MFL was moved to the modern era, I'm speaking about when Doomy became a professional quarterback, when he was the captain. He's 0-6 in playoff games, Hamada.
Let me know when it's my turn.
Let me bring something up. He's had some of the most stacked rosters in the history of MFL. If you go back and look at Intifada 1.0, that team might be one of the most talented teams in the history of MFL. That team is up there with Hazim's team based on strictly talent. Talent alone, it's up there with Mogadishu.
That is an insane take, Tokes.
And my next take is Doomy had a crazy roster last year on Intifada 2.0, and he let Stonehands turn himself into a household name. Now this year, the roster might be the worst roster Doomy has ever had in his career. Look, when Ubi is relied on as one of your top options at this stage of his career, just throw in the towel. And like I said earlier, when you're bringing up names like Ali Beni and Sami Agha as marquee players, as key players, don't even show up to the game. Just stay home and watch the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are playing at 12.
Yeah.
You might as well watch the Chiefs game. Listen,
Let me know
Big O's supporting cast, they all fit well. When Omar Aish made the Habibi Elite #1 in the preseason, he said each player brought something different. Azuz can stretch the field. I'm more of a yards after catch guy. Nadim's the possession receiver. Al Yusuf's the take it off the top type of a guy. You got 4 receivers with 4 different skill sets. You've got one of the most underrated blockers in the league in Naeem, who's one of the best blockers in the league. You got Hussam, who's been doing it for years. You got Yusuf Q, Connor. These guys been making plays week in and week out. And can we speak about Habibi Elite's secondary, specifically the corners? Yanal, Ramahi, and Fadi Nasser. These last 3 weeks have shut down offenses. When you look at #1 receivers, Amin Nuru held the 3 catches. Musa Mullet held the 1 catch. AJ held to 2 catches. This is all the doing of our secondary. Our secondary is having to face who? Issa and Ubi? Because Monty's not the deep threat. Me and Azuz will take care of Monty. All we're worried about is Doomy taking off. And once we stop that, it could get ugly. But I have respect for Doomy. It's going to be a close game, but we all know whose supporting cast will come out on top. You got anything you want to add? Because it sure seems like you got something on your mind.
Now, if you think that what you did to add last week is what you're going to see on the field this week, you're in for a rude awakening.
Don't say
Now-
what I think you're about to say.
Hold up. This man across from me just lied to the general public in the audience at home. He said Big O. I wrote this down. Big O has more playoff dubs than Doomy. Sorry, guys. I might be living under a rock. Call me Patrick Starr, but as far as I'm concerned, this is Big O's first career as a starter at quarterback. So how in the hell can he have more dubs than Doomy in the playoffs? That just doesn't make
We
sense.
just won a playoff
'cause he
game.
has 0.
We just won a playoff game.
I'm sorry. I told you I'd give you credit, but I don't count that crap.
What?
Listen up.
You would have killed us if
Listen
you would've
up.
lost.
Listen up.
Don't
You said-
say what I think you're
you
about to
said
say.
Monty is a wash with Azuz? Monty's missed half the season, and he leads the league in touchdowns. That answers that question, whose supporting cast will help them more, because Monty has helped Doomy get 7 touchdowns without him being on the field so far. And then you said, hold up, no, I wrote this down as well. No top 5 players for Habibi Elite. I checked the sacks. Not a single Habibi Elite player on there.
I'm number 2 in touchdowns.
No supporting cast there.
I'm number 2 in touchdowns.
Let me finish.
So once again, you lying to the public.
The so-called first, one of the best receivers in the league, Nowhere to be seen on the interceptions list. Nowhere to be seen on the touchdowns list. So I don't know how. So we know Monty helps Doomy there, but I don't know if Jesus helps Big O there. Or should I say Small O?
No, you can
And
put
then
me as the
Nadeem.
number one option.
Nadeem usually, a touchdown reception machine. Nowhere to be seen on the interceptions list or the touchdowns list. Doomy has Monty, and he's cleared more than what any player on your team is cleared. So as far as I'm concerned, the only players I've seen make a difference on offense is Big O's legs, Nadeem catching a touchdown here and there, or you catching some 5-yard dump off. Because we know Big O, Small O is a check down merchant, and he's gonna hit you for 5 yards, and then somehow 50 players on Halal Hustlers is going to miss 20 flat pulls, but we know no player on Doomsday's team is going to miss a single flat pull because they're one of the best defenses in the league.
Look, I'm the slipperiest player in the league.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. We saw you trying to catch down Yunad, and this man ran out of gas 3/4
What?
of the way there,
Hey.
and you look like an Oompa Loompa trying to catch down Yunad.
At least
one of the
my
most watched
team,
players in the league.
At least my team shows 100% effort. I can't say the same about FC Palestine because when it comes to it, Ubi shows no effort on that team, and it's
I
up
already
to
addressed that he was hurt.
It's up to the captain to put his players in check. But it seems like the captain isn't man enough to put his players in check. If we do something wrong, Big O lets us know right away, and that's why I'll go to war for that guy, and that's why I'll put my life on the line to make sure he wins a ring this coming Sunday. Now, you better not say anything negative about Big O at all.
Moving on to our next segment, but before we move on, I would like to ask Hamada, how will a loss this Sunday affect Doomy's legacy?
Now, I know that we all know that Doomy so far, I don't want to say he has 0 playoff dubs, but I'm going to give him credit for being Fahad last.
He didn't win that game.
He
He
won
didn't
it.
finish that
He
game.
won that game.
He didn't win. Obada won that game.
Listen up. They were up by 3 scores. It was like him.
2 score. Look, if the quarterback doesn't finish the game, I'm not counting it. All right.
He built up such a lead. He dug such a hole that you could have put me at quarterback. We know what I do at quarterback. I thought I'm a pick merchant, so we know that if I went at quarterback, that team still would have won because the cushion was set by Doomsday.
I don't
the
do
guy
ifs.
that was the
I don't
MVP
do
in the
ifs.
league
How
to that
about
far.
Did Doomy finish that game?
Was Doomy blowing out Fahad?
Did
Yes or
Do-
no?
did-
Was Doomy blowing out Fahad
Did-
Akhtar? Yes or no?
Did Doomy take a knee at the end of the game? Did Doomy take the knee at the end of the game? Yes or no?
So Tokes, if the score was 40-0, but Doomy got hurt and I had to take the
Well,
knee,
it
are we
wasn't
giving him credit?
40-0.
If it was, are we giving him credit?
Well, I don't do ifs, ands, or buts.
Well, it was
I just
30-18.
do whatever.
It's pretty much the same thing.
The proof is in the pudding.
You're in for a rude awakening, Tokes. Next segment.
Moving on to our next segment.
Most to win with the ring on Sunday. So, we're going to go over this segment and explain it before we go in. So, this segment is about players who have the most to gain with winning a ring. So, if you're a player on this list and you win a ring this Sunday, you get put into a stratosphere that no other player is going to be put in.
And I think we all have a unanimous number one. I think the whole league has a unanimous number one.
Yeah.
Let's start off with that number one, should we?
Should be pretty easy. Straight off the bat.
So, the number one player, I went back, I grinded the all 22. I've been watching film over the last maybe 2 to 3 seasons just to compile all my rankings. And the player with the most to gain with a championship win this coming Sunday is Doomy Dooms Kutsalus. Look, everyone talks about Doomy. He's one of the most talented players that's ever stepped foot onto the MFL field. You talk about the arm angles, the cross-body throws, the release, his ability to get out of the pocket. He's one of the most talented players you'll ever see. But there's only one knock on Doomy. It's that he has no playoff wins and he doesn't have a ring. Now, to be considered one of the best all-time players, which Doomy talent-wise, Doomy's one of the best all-time talent-wise. But at some point, I can't just look at talent. I need to see the accolades aligning with the talent. And if Doomy wins a ring this coming Sunday, more likely than not, he'll also win Super Bowl MVP. I mean, he just gets put into a strategy. Look, we have to start talking about Doomy in the same names we talk about with Fahad, Obada, Hazem. He can start entering those conversations. Right now, Doomy's a tier 2 all-time quarterback. You can put him in there with guys like Dustin, maybe Ghazali, all those guys who were great, but they didn't get the job done. guys who are bona fide great talents that just couldn't get over the hump.
I would say Dumi's in a tier by himself. You have the tier 1 quarterbacks, Albada, Hazem, Ebi, Fahad. And then you have that tier with Dumi. You mentioned Dustin and Azadi, but Dumi has like, he's piled up MVPs. He's piled up captains of the year. He's piled up offensive player of the year. So he has the trophies, unlike the other guys. You know, the Dustins, the Azadis, you could let the Shaqs.
Shaq in his prime, maybe. Shaq in his prime.
Whatever. Dumi has the accolades. All he's missing is that ring. So I would argue that Dumi is like, if you ever watch Knicks tiers, it's you got tier 1, and then you got the tier 2.
Yeah,
just
vacant.
Dumi.
It
was vacant. It was just Dumi, and then you got the tier 3 with the rest of the guys.
I agree with that, Hamada. All right.
Going on to our number 2.
My number 2 player with the most to gain. Look, I was flip-flopping between number 2 and number 3 all these last couple weeks and last couple days. I was just flip-flopping. But I think the player with the second most to gain is Big O. Now, Omar Allan, I think he just came, he burst onto the scene. A lot of people, I think, when he first started playing a couple games, they were like, man, this is an experiment. What is this guy? You look at what he was able to do from week 4 and on, he looked like the Big O that we thought we were going to see. A guy who can make any throw on the field. Last week, he was rolling out to his left with 2 rushers in his face, made a cross-body 30-yard touchdown pass to Nadim. There's only a couple QBs in the history of the league that can make that throw. We've seen Big O throw streaks on a dime. He might be the best deep ball thrower in the league. Lately, look, his talent's there. He's been in the pocket a lot more recently. He's evolving while playing the position of quarterback, and he's advancing very quickly. He's a rookie quarterback-wise. For this guy to go and beat Dumi, who we consider as one of the best talents, and then potentially play Sudani or Egypt in the chip and win that game, you look at that road. That's one of the most difficult roads to a chip. And for a first-time quarterback to go through that, be put in that position, and if he comes out on top, there's most likely a chance he'll probably also be Finals MVP. We don't know. There's a lot of talent on that team, but he'll probably be the Finals MVP. But if he's able to do that, I think you put him in a tier. Look, he might be the biggest talked about player heading into next season if he wins a ring.
Okay, hold up. You're sitting here telling me that Small O, in his first ever season, no resume to speak of, has more to gain
Don't say
than
it.
Egypt, who's been in this league. He's a
Hamada!
Hey, what's going on?
Hamada!
What's going
Don't
on?
disrespect Big O.
Let go of me right now.
Don't disrespect him.
Let me go.
We apologize.
Don't talk about Big O
We're
like
sorry
that.
about that,
Finish what I
guys.
started
We're sorry about
by
that, guys.
saying that Ahmed Egypt, the real Big O, I mean, is a seasoned veteran who's been in this league multiple years, who has gotten a ring before, has
Youth
been
leagues don't count.
has been on the decline. So you would, so to speak, as you would say, for the last couple seasons, he hasn't sniffed a playoff dub in the last couple seasons. He hasn't sniffed a winning record in the last couple seasons. You're telling me that guy getting a ring, leading his team to an undefeated record, and getting a ring, and maybe getting a Finals MVP, doesn't have more to gain than a guy getting his first ever ring in his first ever season?
Listen, that takes me on to my third player who was most to gain. Now, before you go in and start rambling and babbling, you didn't let me finish. Because who I have at number 3 for most to gain is your guy, Omar Egypt Nugget. Listen, you're going to say I'm a hater, but I can't lie. If Omar Egypt were to go on with the number 1 seed, beat Sudani, who I consider a Hall of Famer and a Hall of Fame talent on a Hall of Fame roster, and then go on to beat potentially either the most talented quarterback in MFL history, which is Dumi, or beat the hottest team in the league, which is Habibi Elite. Look, that'll be very impressive. So I had to put him on this list. The only reason I didn't put him at number 2 is because I think a rookie doing it is more impressive. But listen, Egypt's been pretty solid this year. I'll give him the credit. Egypt has made some phenomenal throws. He might be the best at extending the play this season. I'll give you that. His ability to dodge rushers, spin left or right out of the pocket, and then deliver a pinpoint pass in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. But he's also prone to turning the ball over. He's a gunslinger. He's a Brett Favre. He'll give you the goods, but he'll also give you a lot of bad. So he's a little inconsistent for me. But with the ring, if he wins a ring, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what any critic says. It shoots him up into the stratosphere of where no one can diss him anymore.
Exactly. Now that's what I was saying. Amr Allan was seen to be an elite quarterback coming into this season. He was seen to be one of the best experiments we've ever implemented in the MFL over players like Ad and Amid and whatnot. So he already had the respect going into the season. He started off slow, but now he's picked it up. So people already see Amr Allan as a potential elite quarterback. Now, on the other hand, people have constantly criticized, scrutinized, dissed Amr Egypt, and don't see him as the same elite quarterback, same elite talent as Amr Allan. But because the question here should say most to gain with a ring. My bad for the teleprompt. Most to gain. Now, Amr Allan, who's already seen as an elite quarterback, getting a ring, sure, it's impressive. But does he gain more than a guy who's seen as a mid-tier quarterback getting a ring? I feel like that's pretty simple, self-explanatory. Amr Egypt clearly has most to gain with a ring.
The only thing that I have to say about that is if Big O wins a ring, he gets shot into superstardom. He'll be talked. No other quarterback will be talked about the way Big O will be talked about heading into his second season. The hype around him will be insane if he goes and wins this ring. You're talking about a guy who have won 6 straight games with who knows how many player of the weeks at the end of it, with a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. If he was already considered elite before he wins that, what do you think he'll be considered if he wins that? He'll be shot up into a stratosphere that we probably haven't seen before. He'll be talked about like one of the most elite talent. Like the hype around that will be crazy. Now if Big O wins a ring, or Amr Egypt wins a ring, he'll just have silenced the doubters.
But also gain the respect enough to go through a gauntlet like Sudani or Doomy and Amr Allan.
But I don't think anyone will hype him up the way they'll hype up Big O if Big O were to win it. That's what I have to say about that. And so now we move on. So I do have 7 guys on this list, guys. So these next couple of guys I'll try to go by fast since we've been rambling a bit. My number 4 guy is a guy who we've scrutinized all year. Now I got to give this guy credit because he's been taking a lot of trash talk, a lot of disrespect from a lot of MFL experts, a lot of people in the community. I'm going with Ubi Dulak. Listen, a lot of people forget. Back when Ubi was in his heyday, when he was playing with Hazem, when he was receiver, this is a guy who was Hazem's first round pick, Hazem's number 1 go-to guy in a league that was filled with talent. We're talking about a talent pool that doesn't compare to us. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the greatest player in MFL history trusting Ubi as his number 1 guy. Hazem trusted him with his life. And Ubi, look, he may not be who he once was. He may not be as great as he once was, but I believe he can be as great as he was once. So, Ubi with the ring here will get all the respect back. I'm not gonna lie. He'll get all the respect back. It's a new generation now. The new generation, they hadn't seen Ubi do anything. My generation and your generation, Hamada, we came up playing with the older guys. We have respect for Ubi because we know all the hard work and all the accolades he achieved earlier on. Mm-hmm. These last couple seasons, a lot of people are saying this guy's washed. He needs to retire. He got demoted from captain, saying he's one of the worst captains, and if not the worst captain in the history of MFL. Like, Ubi's faced a lot of scrutiny, and a lot of people would have just retired. They would have just said, hey, man, I have my legacy, and I'm done. I'm out of here. But Ubi chose to come back, and he's had an okay season. But a ring, for him to help Doomy win his first ring, and him also being the guy who helped Hazem win multiple rings, like he'd be the ultimate Robin in my eyes. He'll be the Kyrie to Doomy and Haslam's LeBron. He'll be the D Wade to the LeBron. Like, he'll be the Scottie Pippen to the Jordan. So with a ring, Ubi will get all the respect back, and he'll solidify himself into the Hall of Fame if he hasn't already. There will be no doubts.
Enough said with that one.
Now, my number 5 guy. Look, Hamada, all year long, you've said I've hated on you. You've said I've criticized you and scrutinized you and dehumanized you and all that and whatnot. But my number 5 guy.
They literally did dehumanize me by putting me on a shirt. I want you, if I get a ring, I need you to burn that shirt and I want to watch it. We're going to tape it on Nightcap Live.
Listen, look, Hamada's gone through a lot. So we're going with Hamada Selous as my number 5 player most of the game. Look, these last couple of seasons, Hamada's faced a lot of scrutiny. He's been injured. Look, a lot of people will say he was one of the downfalls of Intifada, one of. He single-handedly lost a game on a Hail Mary. Some might say his offense wasn't there last year. He might have missed a step or he's slowing down. And the year that he won a championship, he got injured in the first half. So these last couple of years, there's been a lot of question about who Hamada really is. And this was his first ever season where he got demoted and picked up in the second round, late in the second round. Hamada's been a first-round pick these last couple of years, but this year, the man sitting across from me got drafted after me. So, I have to put Hamada on here. He would lead Big Egypt to his first legitimate ring. And look, it'll shoot him back into conversations that people can't call this guy washed. It'll extend his career, and I think it shoots him back into a first rounder next year if he can pull it off. Now, I got 2 more guys left on this list. And number 6, I think personally this guy should be higher on the list with everything he's had to deal with. I'm going with Aziz Abu Azab as my number 6 player with the most to game. I've heard people say Habibi Elite is better without Azuz. I've heard people say Omar Egypt reached his full potential without Azuz. I've heard people say Azuz isn't the number 1 option on Habibi Elite. I've heard people say Azuz isn't as shifty as he was. He doesn't make as many defensive plays as he once did. He's slowing down, or we're overrating this guy. He's not who he once was. But let me tell you something. This is my first year playing with Azuz. And look, I can just tell you, when he's out there on that field, he's a game changer. Other people, other defenses, other teams, they change the way they scheme when a player like Azuz is on the field. That should tell you enough. Now, Azuz doesn't have a ring, mainly because Azuz has been a number 1 or number 2 overall pick his whole career. This guy hasn't gotten picked less than number 3 overall his whole career.
Drafted to what quarterback, Tokes?
To Big O.
Exactly. The guy I just took on an undefeated season. But continue.
It's all right. Listen, Azuz, I feel like a lot of people are undermining who he is as a player. If he's able to go and win a championship, if Habibi Elite win a championship, Azuz will be one of the main reasons, if not the main reason. Look, this will solidify him as no one can say anything about Azuz anymore. You can't ever say this guy was overrated, ever, if he's able to pull this off with a rookie quarterback. So that's all I have to say about that, because I know firsthand how elite of a player Azuz is, and soon the rest of the league will come and find out, and everything of my takes will come to fruition.
Yeah. Listen. I know I've been critical of him, saying your team is a better offense without him, because a week we saw, you went basically winless the whole season until he missed the game. But if he wins a ring, beats Dumi, beats either us or Sudani in the playoffs, and is a big factor, I'm a man. I give credit where credit is deserved. I'll be the first one on here to come on Nightcap and give you credit. If not, if I haven't given it already, considering you're one of the hottest teams in the league, led by the first round pick, in the second, in the third. So I'll come on here, give credit, and he definitely has a lot to gain.
All right. My last player. Now this is going to be a controversial take. Coming into the league, no one knew who this guy was. After 2 to 3 weeks, people were proclaiming this guy to be the best rookie in the history of the MFL. This younger gen likes to jump to conclusions. I saw a middle school kadur go out there and be top 3 in touchdowns his rookie year against one of the best talented MFL pool ever. I've seen guys like Yanal Rahima as a rookie in the OG days be a number 1 option straight out of middle school. Listen, the player that I'm talking about, if you guys don't already know by now, is none other than Musa Mullet. After the first couple games, people thought this guy was bound to be the best player in the league or something like that. But once the league figured out that this guy's just a streak route merchant and that we haven't been really seeing any real routes, I've never really seen this guy run a post, an in route, a slant route, anything other than a streak. But look, he's a rookie. I do think, though, with all that being said, everything that I've just said, if Musa were to win a ring and Mu'mineen go on to win a championship, Musa would be a big reason. We all know that.
This is predicated on, though, if it's not led by Alan or Yanad, if he's a big part. If he's not doing nothing other than holding it down defense, we're not going to give him that
but I think the only way Mu'mineen can win a ring is if Musa shows up like he did in the first few weeks. Because, look, as great as Alan, Awad, Danish, all these guys are, you can't expect older guys to give you back-to-back great games.
Yeah, he has it in him.
You can't expect a guy to play 40 full minutes that's a little on the older side and then give you another 40 minutes in the championship.
Exactly.
You need a guy with fresh legs. This guy, whether it's in the first game or in the championship, Musa's name has to be stamped on one of those 2 games. Mm-hmm. You can't just leave it all out to the veterans because then they'll all be burnt out heading into the championship and it'll be over. Mm-hmm. So I do think Musa will be a big part if Mu'mineen win. And if that happens and they do win, I think that'll shoot Musa up to a first round, maybe a top 3 pick. Mm-hmm. Like the stock, Musa might be the biggest stock in any player to buy if he wins a ring. So he could be higher on this list. The only reason I didn't put him higher is because I have respect for some of the veterans in the league. So
he's the definition of the question. I mean, to go from a 7th or 8th round pick to a bona fide top five player in the league, top 5 pick. I mean that by itself.
That solidifies that tells you what the list is. Uh-huh. So with that being said, I think we all know that was a right list.
Moving on, compiled it together. He's like, I'm not gonna give him all the credit. I gave half the damn list.
Moving on to chat questions.
We'll answer a few questions, guys, before we go. But I do want to say one thing before we go into the chat questions. We'll let the questions pile up. Me and Hamada appreciate everybody tuning in each and every week. We averaged over like 50, 60 live viewers, and on the YouTube we hit like 100+ views almost every week. So we had a lot of people request it. We had people going out and doing watch parties, people gathering around. So just in general, I think this is what we want MFL in general to be, where people in the community can come together. We don't want people being outside doing, haram things or bad things. Like stuff like this brings the community together. It brings us all together. It unites us. We all want to laugh, have fun, watch stuff. So just in general, I don't want anyone to take MFL for granted. And we all appreciate you guys for all the love, all the support that we've gotten. And this was supposed to be the final nightcap. But me and Hamada decided after the championship, we'll do one final nightcap next week after the championship. And then we'll send it off from there. So we appreciate everything that you guys do. So now we get into the chat questions. Nadeem, what do you got?
What the hell are they saying?
First question we got. Everyone seems to ask about Playoff Eid. What do you think about Playoff Eid? Playoff Eid? Playoff Eid?
Listen.
What happened to Playoff Eid?
You don't have to.
But before you answer that, I want to ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Was Eid a one-year wonder? Is he done? Or does he deserve a third chance?
To be captain.
I never.
To be captain.
Want to see Aid listed on the depth chart as a captain ever in my life again. I don't care. You've seen me what I can do at quarterback. You could throw me on there. I don't give a flying F. I never want to see Aid as a captain again. I love Aid. Listen, do not take this personally. I love you, but this is year 2. and you have yet to win a regular season game. I'm sorry, that itself, just like it ruined whatever momentum you had going after those playoff victories last year. But I'm sorry, Ayed, you had your chance, you had your experiment, trial 1, trial 2. I'm sorry, no more trials.
Next,
we're done.
Going off of that, Hamada, let's say you switch Aid and Amir. You put Aid on Galleria Guardians, and you put Amir on Hummus Hustlers or Halal Hustlers. Who plays better?
That's like comparing.
Do you see Aid playing better on Galleria Guardians with the talent of AJ, KJ Smith, etc., etc., etc.?
Listen, that's like comparing a rotten apple to a rotten banana. I'm sorry, both those offenses would be BB gun offenses, led by the defenses, as we saw with Amir. Amir showed me a little more poise, a little more, I guess, IQ.
Look, Amir showed promise.
He showed promise. He threw too many damn picks,
but
that's because
fine.
he was like the pressure hit him.
Amir
hard.
had some big game moments.
Yes.
Amir won big games.
Yeah.
Aid hasn't won big games other than that playoff game he had last year.
I mean, enough said. He had 0 regular season dubs in his career. Amir already has what, 3? That takes the.
What I have to say about that really quickly is, listen, Aid is a good receiver. I don't want to see Aid at quarterback. I don't want to see Aid as captain. Aid's not a good captain and he's not a good quarterback. He never subs out players that are playing bad. He doesn't make any. He doesn't make any changes. You don't like. You see Amir will sub guys in and out. All the Big O. Rotate in and out at rusher. But like, he's a captain. He's captain. We've seen other guys be captain material. Amir's probably the best captain in the league. And I give Amir another chance and maybe another chance after that, just because I've seen Amir win games. I've seen Amir show up in the big time moments. I've seen Amir do something. Now, obviously, Amir made some mistakes and stuff like that. He's a rookie.
His whole offensive line was crashing out on him. Yet he stayed poised. He kept his team huddled. Kept them together. And what's that Hail Mary away? Perfect throw.
Look, if you compare Aid and Amir, that's like comparing Mahomes to Gardner Minshew. Like, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
Next year, per my sources, some of the older guys will be returning. I'm hearing Aus, Fahad, EB. There's rumors that these guys will return. So there's no chance Aid's quarterback next year, and he better not.
Yeah.
Next question. Have the last 3 years of Amin Nuru's MFL career tarnished his reputation and career in the league?
Listen.
The last 3 years have they tarnished?
When people talked about Amin Nuru, when we used to play at Blue Valley North, when we used to play at different stadiums, when Hazem was the commish, and people talked about Amin like they talk about Larry Fitzgerald, the most sure-handed receiver, a guy that he's going to lay it all out there on the line on both sides of the ball, a guy who would never crash out, a guy who he was a definition of being a role model. If you talk about a role model MFL player, a guy who you want to model your game after, a guy you want to look up to, everyone would point to Amin Nuru. Now, these last 3 years, look, Amin's used to winning. Amin's a winner. Last 3 years, he's been around a lot of losing. Mm-hmm. No one likes to lose. And when you lose, sometimes the emotions get the better of you. Now, obviously, we've seen Amin crash out a lot over these last 2
Can't
to 3
blame
seasons.
him. Can't really blame him.
I don't blame him, but these last 2 to 3 seasons, Amin has crashed out. Look, I don't think it tarnishes his legacy, because what Amin did for his what this guy has done over his 15-year career, I'm not going to look at the last 3 years and say he's a whole different guy than he was those first 12 years. Because what he was those first 12 years was who he was. He's just been in a bad situation these last 3 years. And a guy like Amin is getting older. A guy like Amin, he knows the end of the road is near. He's closer to the end of his career than he is to the start of it. So he knows he doesn't have a lot of time left in the league. So I know he gets frustrated because he wants to win that final ring and go off into the sunset. And I feel really bad for Amin because he's just been in terrible situations. Yeah. But I don't think Amin's legacy is already set in stone. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, first of all. One of the best players that has ever graced the MFL field, and an all-time role model on and off the field.
Hamada, going on to you. I have another question. Does Habibi Elite losing on Sunday affect Azuz's top 3 status in the league? Top 3 draft pick status in the league?
Now, to answer that question, you got to look at the landscape of the talent. Now, we know AJ is probably another bona fide, unless hasn't thought of coming into this league.
We can agree, yeah. We can agree AJ is a first overall, no matter what unanimous.
Based on what Ben has done, he's a second.
I can see that as well.
And then, depending on what Musa does this weekend, he might be a third. And then after that, it gets kind of dicey. We thought Zayd was going to, be an up-and-comer, freaking explode himself onto the scene.
He chose the O-line.
He fell off.
He chose to be an O-line.
One too many McChickens can take you out of this league like we saw with him. So, after that, the fourth pick, I can see Azuz definitely still in the first round, without a doubt. But I don't really think it tarnishes it, no.
What do you think, Tokes?
Yeah, I think Azuz is one of those players. A quarterback would love to have Azuz on their team. So no quarterback is going to let that opportunity slip. Like, for example, hypothetically, if Azuz slipped to the 6th pick, you don't think Soudani is taking... Yeah. You have Soudani and Azuz on one team. Those are two of the most athletic players in the history of the league.
Just a reminder, in Azuz's career, he has never had an elite quarterback or an established elite quarterback throwing the ball to him.
Yeah.
He's had Egypt and he's had Big O. They're not. I don't consider them established yet.
Yeah.
Ubi's a plumber.
Yeah.
So we don't even consider that.
Yeah.
Bigger plumber. So we don't consider them. But I feel like putting him with someone like Dumi or Soudani will elevate him to
I think the
areas
best
we've never seen him.
Because we know if Big O gets a ring, he's going to fall down the draft. He's not going to be the second overall pick again. So the best thing for Azuz would be to be a 4th, 5th pick.
Go back to Big O, just run it back.
You can go to players like Ibi or Fahad if they play, or Domi or Soudani.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing for him. Like I have been. I've been blessed to not be the best player in the league, but not be a mid-second. So I've been blessed to go at the end to players like Soudani, like Domi 2 years in a row, like Albada, like Fahad. So like being a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick, second overall pick is actually kind of better for your situation.
Yeah, we'll answer like 2 to 3 more questions, guys. Then we'll head out.
Looks like next question. Muhammad Alan is saying, I need my second ring this year. Man, my first MFL ring. I'm assuming that's going with his NBA ring.
It's not happening, G.
It's not look like... I know I'm just the moderator here, Alan, but I feel like all three of us can agree that's not happening.
Just get my Balenciaga sets ready, man.
Listen, just get my fake Rolex ready. No, don't let the bed bugs bite. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because Ahmed Egypt is taking the kick this week. Ahmed Al Ahmed's locking up Musa Mullet. I'm locking up whatever's that. I'm taking away Sedani's legs. I'm taking away his arm. That one's gonna. There's 6, 7 corners getting picks. We're winning. So
one more question and we'll head out.
Looks like the chat doesn't love us today, man. Everyone's busy playing soccer.
That's it.
Looks like that's it. Appreciate you guys for watching. You guys are gonna run it back next week, huh?
I got one more in me.
One more in you. But yeah, we appreciate it, guys.
All right,
thank you for watching.
Good show,
We'll see y'all. We out.
Do I click this one or this one?
Put in, bro. Big O, small O, I don't care O.
Habibi in 5.
5.
I'm out.